Welcome and thank you for joining in today. Today's video is going to be about social anxiety, ways that it is treated, ways that it is identified, and 5 take-home tips that you can use yourself. First off, you might be asking, what is social anxiety? Well, it is similar to what it sounds like. It is being anxious in social environments. This could be at school, it could be at parties, it could be at social family gatherings. The other way social anxiety can impact you is preventing you from calling about a bill that is due or being able to reach out for some sort of business purposes so that you feel afraid or impaired in a way that you can't talk to another person. Social anxiety impairs people greatly because it impacts your ability to be the person you want to be. Some ways social anxiety has been on the rise is related to technology. As you can see, everyone is kind of connected to their phones or connected to social media in some way, and face-to-face contact is very limited nowadays. So think about your own self. Do you tend to make appointments online, call, or go in person? Most of the time we are looking for quick fixes, shortcuts, things like that, where we don't actually have to have face-to-face contact with another person. This impairs us as we move forward because when we are faced with the need to have a face-to-face contact with someone, that is where that social anxiety really kind of goes through the roof. Social anxiety can develop at any time. It can develop in childhood all the way through adulthood. Social anxiety may be developed as a personality trait, like a child that's always been kind of introverted or shy, or it could have been a result of a negative social encounter. So maybe you had a boss that was really demeaning or demanding that then impaired your abilities to go to social gatherings at work, which then complicated things to engage with your coworkers outside of work, and it just kept perpetuating. By definition, social anxiety is the feeling that other people may not like you, feeling that you're going to be scrutinized by other people, or that you aren't going to perform as well as other people, and therefore you avoid social type situations. Oftentimes, the social anxiety is a lot higher in intensity when you're in unfamiliar situations or around unfamiliar people. One may recognize that their anxiety related to social situations is excessive or unrealistic. However, the anxiety continues. So this leads people to oftentimes avoid situations where they feel like this anxiety is going to be uncontrollable. So now that you have a good idea of what social anxiety is and how it can affect a person, I would like to give you 5 tips that will help you reduce and or alleviate your own social anxiety. Tip number 1 is acknowledging that anxiety is a part of life. I want you to reflect on a time when you were in pain. If you focused on that pain, did you not realize that the pain increased and or became more intolerable? Well, anxiety works in the same way. If we acknowledge that we have the anxiety, say, I see you're here, it's okay, then it doesn't bother us so much. But if we, on the other hand, recognize the anxiety and wish for it to go away, that it's bothersome, that it's getting in the way of things, then in those times the anxiety oftentimes will increase and or become more bothersome, where you feel an ultimate fear that you need to get out of the situation, and that's where the avoidance comes from. So learning, just accepting that I have anxiety, I realize what these symptoms feel like, whether it is sweating, heart racing, chest pounding, headaches, grinding teeth, clenching your fists, whatever that may be, recognize that that is a normal part of your life and that this is a controllable situation. Tip number 2 is reality test. Reality testing is a good method for a lot of mental health issues. Social anxiety, it works very well for those times when we have this excessive worry or worry where we know that it's probably not possible that this is going to happen. So if you're thinking in your mind, I don't want to go to our company Christmas party because so and so is going to want to talk to me, and I feel really uncomfortable around this person, and I am going to say something really stupid. Well, that's some worry that you aren't sure that this is really going to happen. So being able to test if this is true. Do you have any evidence that you've said something stupid to this person in the past? Do you have any evidence that this is going to happen tonight? Well, unless you can predict the future, you don't have any evidence that a bad experience is going to happen. So this is one way of saying, you know what, maybe I am wrong, and going to the party would be a good idea because I can mingle with other people. If I feel uncomfortable around that person, maybe I limit my contact with them. Tip number 3 is deep breathing. Deep breathing works with a lot of anxiety disorders as a way of treatment and self-help techniques. Deep breathing allows you to control the in and out of the breath and to reduce that to where it's not so rapid. If you can sit and do a little tester, rapid breathing, when you sit there and go, by nature increases the adrenaline, increases your anxiety. So therefore, being able to control your breathing and reduce it in terms of how fast you're inhaling and exhaling will afford you the ability to naturally reduce your anxiety. So the best way to start a deep breathing exercise is to sit flat in your chair. If you have armrests, use those armrests and put your feet flat on the ground. Then you monitor your breath by counting for an inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause for a moment and do it again. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue to do that for 30 seconds to 1 minute if needed. Longer if you need to do it a little bit longer. If you start to feel lightheaded, stop and take breaths naturally. When you're just beginning to deep breathe, you can feel a little lightheaded because it is an unnatural breathing pattern for you, because most of us generally just breathe in the upper portion of our lungs. So these deep breaths take a little bit extra out of our bodies that it is not used to providing to us. So try that for a little bit of time. Once you start getting used to that, then you can do these in these social situations or any environment in which you start feeling anxiety. Tip number 4 is to shift your attention. If you've ever done this in any other situations, whether it is negative thinking or you don't want to be sad in a certain moment, diverting your attention to something else can be very helpful in the moment. So if you're anxious and you are at a social gathering, maybe you're out with friends at dinner and they're talking about a topic that makes you a little anxious, or just being there in general makes you anxious, divert your attention away to something else. Maybe look at the colors that people are wearing. Look at the silverware on the table. Start reading the menu. If there is a television in the restaurant in which you are in, maybe watch a little bit of television. Do something that requires your attention other than what you're attempting to attend to at the moment, which is your anxiety. Last but by no means least, tip number 5, that is the obvious, and that is increase your sociability. Go out and be social. As hard as that is for most people to do, as you practice makes perfect. So practice, practice, practice. If being social is very awkward for you and something that you typically avoid, find small situations that you can attend. Go out to the grocery store more often. Maybe go to a sports game where there's other people around. You may not be engaging with those people, but you're in a social environment. Going out to the park, maybe sitting in the break room at your lunch hour so that you can engage with coworkers. Doing something that increases your social outings will help you then reduce that social anxiety, because you will then get used to being in these type of environments. And oftentimes when things are unfamiliar, our anxiety increases. So the familiarity of a social environment will help you then reduce that naturally. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment below. Have a great day and see you soon. Don't bring me back.